It is the Fulhamish quick take after Fulham's win on penalties here at Old Trafford in the FA Cup 5th round, and I am joined by Jack Kelly. Hello, how do you feel, sir?
Yeah, very happy, very elated, very pleased for everyone who came up to support the team, and you know, it was a marathon game and we got through it and we won on penalties at Old Trafford. I've never seen Fulham win at Old Trafford in the flesh because I wasn't here for the last season's game, so I'm very pleased, but it's not about me. It's about the team, it's about the fans, and you know, we're one game away from Wembley, and it's just a remarkable day for Fulham. I can't speak.
Honestly, we're about an hour after the after the penalty shootout now, and it's taken me this long just to kind of process the emotion of what happened. I think, Jack, after all the ways that we've conspired to lose against Manchester United over the years, you know, we had the famous one 2 years ago, but there's also been last-minute goals, last-minute heartbreak. I just thought, are we going to add a penalty shootout to this list as well? I was so convinced when it went to penalties that this is not going to be Fulham's day.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that went through my mind as well. It was well, what on the list is how we can lose this game after all the stuff that's happened here before in the past. And yeah, penalties felt almost inevitable that was going to be the conclusion, that we would lose on penalties. But even then, in the 120th minute, you know, they had a chance to win the game. They had a chance to win the game late on in 90 minutes. I can't even remember now. The two segments of the game sort of merged into one for me. But when it went to penalties, obviously, like, you know, the penalty record that we've got, you know, we beat Everton on pens. We took Preston to a marathon penalty shootout, you know, earlier this season. We scored loads of penalties within that, and the players that were lining up to take it, you know, it was Jimenez, then Berger, then Willian, then Robinson. I was like, I've got confidence in all of these players. There was no time where I thought, oh, I don't know if he's going to score specifically, and it was all down to Bernd Leno in goal. I mean, I was sort of rattling through my brain. I swear there's been an argument before about fans just not convinced that Bernd Leno can save penalties, or certainly a keeper in the past that always sort of never save penalties. I think it is Leno, and because and it is a really two very, very good saves. I mean, not the best penalty from Lindelof and obviously Xerxes, but you have to save them to get through or hope they miss the target. And you know, all you can do in a shootout is score your penalties. I thought it was, you know, Stretford end, fine, doesn't matter. Taking second, fine. That's actually, I don't mind taking second. And you know, we just had to match them. They score, and then we score. We just match them. And if they are the first one to slip up, we've just got to take our penalty. We got into an opportunity where we basically had two chances to win, either with a save or to score the fifth. And Leno did the first thing that he possibly could, and that was save it. And yeah, just great reaction, you know, from the fans and from the players. It was just a really togetherness moment, to the point where I'm usually sort of trying to film my reaction, but I actually had to pause and just take it all in, because this is a very unique situation to be in. I know I've rambled, Sammy. Let's get to the next question. But Fulham are in the quarterfinal and we host Palace, my brother's team.
Yeah, well, that wasn't where I was going to go for my next question, but I think that it's a draw that I definitely would have taken. You know, I was thinking about all the different possibilities, and yeah, sure, Preston are probably the side everyone wanted, but there were lots of sides that I didn't want. I didn't fancy Bournemouth, I didn't fancy Brighton, I didn't fancy Villa. No. And so, look, is it a difficult game? Sure, they did beat us 2 weeks ago fairly convincingly, but I'm like, we've got a 50-50 chance of making it to Wembley here. And how much would we have bitten your arm off for this in January when the Cup started, to be in this position at Craven Cottage, one game from Wembley? It's about as good as it could have been.
I think we need to look at the league game we played against them a couple of weeks ago and just see it as completely irrelevant, because a cup game is completely different in the way it's structured, in the way it could go, in the way that it could go to extra time and penalties, and both teams are not there to sort of, you know, try and, you know, get a point out of each other or try and win and hold on. Well, obviously you do that, but it's going to be an open game, hopefully more open than what we saw at the Cottage. And it was really, obviously, you know, you're playing against a team who we didn't have a shot on target against, but I think it's going to be, the circumstances will be completely different, and there's time in between that to see what happens with each individual team and where their confidence is going to be. It's so amazing, because the game ended and then they went straight into the draw, and I was like, I'm not even mentally prepared for this. and I was thinking in the back of my head, if we win today, by hook or by crook, and which we did, we'll just get City away, and it will feel like when we beat Everton and just got Liverpool, so we have to go exactly back to where we'd just been. But I'm pleased that we're at home. We were first out the hat. being at home is always good. You're in control of the you're in control of the situation. We'll have to put in a better performance, obviously, and obviously Adama getting an ankle injury today isn't ideal. But there's again a lot of time to play, a lot of time to go until that game.
Yeah.
I think we just need to enjoy the moment because this is a very unique situation. Like I said, beating United, knocking out the holders. Of course, they're the holders of the competition. And again, it did feel a little bit like the league game here, where things just went for them a little bit. Not in terms of refereeing, but it's just the crowd and what they do. The Fernandez goal was sort of similar in the way Xerxes scored his goal here in August.
Yeah.
Sort of that first time finish into the corner, obviously from a little bit further out. I don't think Fulham did an awful lot wrong in the game in terms of defensively. I thought defensively we were pretty solid. There was a couple of nervy moments with Calvin Bassey, but overall wasn't the greatest performance. But it doesn't matter. In a cup tie, you sort of get through, and we did.
It felt like today was always going to be challenging for the team mentally, and it was weird watching Fulham today. I'm like, you are the better football team. Of that there is no doubt, and they showed it plenty, but it just felt a little bit like United could get us rattled quite easily, and you even saw it in injury time. There was some really nervy moments. Leno made an amazing save in the 90th minute, but overall I thought that Fulham were okay value for the lead at half time. Maybe actually a few of the missed chances in the second half, I thought we might live to regret a few of those. Didn't quite take, and also the tactics in the second half felt a little bit weird, and it took Marco an awfully long time to make substitutes today. Normally Marco's a bit more proactive. Do you think he had one eye on extra time?
That seemed to be the case. You don't want to go into extra time with no subs left, and you've got to basically just rely on all the 11 players to see out another 30 minutes of football, especially with the fitness levels of Willian, especially with the amount of football we played. We obviously played on Tuesday night as well, and it would have been tough for Brighton as well today, who went all the way to penalties, and obviously we play them next week, so we're all sort of on a level playing field when it comes to that sort of situation. Yeah, the subs for me made sense. Obviously we were forced into a change with Adama coming off, Smith Rowe then coming on, and it put a lot of responsibility on Robertson's shoulders to get up and down a lot, because obviously Smith Rowe likes to drift in a little bit more central, and I thought Smith Rowe did really, really well when he came on. He created chances. To tell you who did come on and did very well was Ryan Sessegnon. He looked like a goal threat, and that obviously goal threat from Tuesday night because he scored, but goal threat in the way that he was on the left hand side.
My soul nearly departed my body when I thought that he'd scored, whenever that was.
It was a good chop inside as well. It was a really good chop inside. Sess has got striking instincts in him, even though he is technically a defender. But in this situation now, we have to look at Adama and look at the squad we have now. He's now has to be seen as a winger, just maybe short term going forward, especially for Brighton. I'd actually, I know Silva basically said after the game that he prefers Iwobi on the left rather than the right. But if push comes transpires where Iwobi starts on the right, I'd actually start Sessegnon on the left ahead of Willian and bring Willian off the bench, because Willian's still not ready. A couple of moments though were like lacks of communication between the players. Two players were going for the same ball and we'd end up losing the ball. We did lose the ball quite cheaply today, and I thought that was quite frustrating at times. And United, when Garnacho came on, he looked dangerous, but I just thought we deserved it. I thought we deserved it on the balance of play, yeah.
And we deserve it because this is the better football team. There's no doubt that Fulham are a better football team than Manchester United. I don't think that's an outrageous thing to say. I just had a feeling that it wasn't going to be our day when it went to penalties, and I'm so glad that we've put this right. You mentioned Marcus Silva. What did he have to say after the match?
Yeah, it was sort of more of the same, because a lot of journalists who don't go to the pre-match will have post-match questions that are very similar to what was said in pre-match because of the narrative of the game, i.e. the 2 years ago. So a lot of the stuff he said I've heard 2, 3, 4 even times before, since the ties come out, the tie was drawn, but also he just said the capability of seeing through all that time and the way we controlled the game at times, and credit goes to Sasha and to Sander Berger and Smith Rowe when he came on as well, because I thought he was fantastic as well. Adama ankle injury, we'll assess it, and just said that the composure of the 4 penalty takers was fantastic, and the togetherness, when they huddled around and before the shootout, he just said, look, we've come so far, not only in the competition but in the game, let's see it through now, penalties, and gave huge credit to Bernd Leno for making those 2 saves. And I think Bernd Leno probably should be the one held up the highest tonight, because he's the reason we're in an FA Cup quarter-final for the second time in 3 years.
Yeah, Bernd Leno obviously will get man of the match because of what he did. It was match winning. I do think though, outfield Sander Berge today was just immense. My word. Like, Sasha was great as well. There was lots of good performances. Thought Calvin Bassey had a great game too. But for me, wow, this guy, I can't get enough of him. I remember being a bit worried about him when he came in. And those first few games in the Cup and the Carabao, I was like, oh, a bit not 100% sure who we've signed here. I'm so wrong. He may be my new favourite Fulham player.
Yeah, for context, that Berger didn't get much of a pre-season. He then came in against Preston, and it was a tough game. He came in against Villa, and they pressed us so high, and he wasn't quite ready for the situation. And we ended up losing that game. But since then, the sky's been the limit for him. He's been a phenomenal signing, and actually more credit needs to go to Berger because he was booked in the game, and that's obviously incredibly worrying. And there's a couple of times where players will get the best of him, and I think if he hauls them down, it's a red card, and he would maybe just take it for the team, but he didn't. He stayed on his feet, and that is the epitome of what I want to talk about next. In the fact that the maturity of the players, the attitude of the players was just everyone had their heads screwed on this time. We saw even Matheus Cunha yesterday. I mean, that's an insane moment in the game, and he's going to be out, and that's going to affect Wolves' season so much because they're not very good without him.
We've grown up a lot in 2 years, and I think that's the key takeaway from this, isn't it? Like, yeah, okay, there was moments today where we maybe lost a bit of control, but ultimately we've got the job done. They've got to be so proud of what they've achieved today.
Absolutely, to a man, fantastic. Again, like some hairy moments with Bassey, and sometimes the ball was headed up so high in the air and you didn't know who was going to get down to it. And United with players like Fernandes who can pick out a pass. Ugarte was quite aggressive in the first half. He got obviously a yellow card. They did have quality on the ball and they could have picked pockets. I thought Eriksen was really good when he started as well, where he started the game. And let's not take away from the fact that United could have just unlocked us at any moment because they have that quality. But I would agree with you that we have overall more quality on the pitch. There was more control in midfield. Lugic and Berger, just like I said it on the quick take when I was at Newcastle, like they're just such a good pairing in midfield, and it's just a fantastic season to be a Fulham fan. It's a fantastic moment to be a Fulham fan. Like someone asked them in the press conference, like, oh, most people look at their league form, they want to go for Europe, but you're going for Europe and you're in the FA Cup quarterfinal. Like, what does that say about your team? And like, we've got two very, very good opportunities to do something incredible this season. So let's just, let's go to Brighton. Let's give them a game. Then we host Spurs, and I won't lie, Sammy, I need a break. I need a couple of weeks off after this for this international break. It's been an intense week, lots of emotion, lots of football. But Sammy, the most important thing is we're in an FA Cup quarterfinal. We're hosting Palace. And look, the pride of South London, the famous Palace boys, they'll turn up with their ultras, they'll make some noise. We've got to have a shot on target. I'll take one shot on target and win 1-0 and then into a Wembley semi-final. Wouldn't it be great if we got Villa in the semi-final and we have to play Villa again at Wembley? Well, it wouldn't be that great. I'd rather Preston, to be fair.
I just want to get to Wembley, Jack. That's all I want. An amazing day, Jack. Thank you. We'll go and have an amazing dinner now to celebrate what has been a monumental day. Thank you for watching. Drop us comments. Let us know what you thought of the game and hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Jack, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's get a 5, guys.
All right, sounds good. You right?
Yes.